Hello, YouTubers and NFL fans everywhere. This is Matt, the NFL Fanatic, giving you my Super Bowl 52 NFL prediction and analysis. Well, for the Fanatic, in Conference Championship weekend, just like the entire postseason, I went 500 once again. So last week against the spread, I went 1-1. I told people to take the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 9.5 to lose to the Pats. And they covered that spread by only losing by 4, so that was a point there for me. However, I also told everybody out there to watch my videos to take the Minnesota Vikings minus 3, and they ended up getting blown out by about 34. It was 41-7 by the end of the game. I'm sorry, it was 38-7. 38-7. A 31-point loss, the largest margin of victory for the Eagles in any of their postseason games in franchise history, so congratulations to them. So for the Fanatic, though, through the postseason, I broke even, unfortunately. I went 6-6 against the spread and 6-6 straight up. So that's not a horrible way to, look at the record, but it's not great either. It's average. So I'm happy that there is one final game left, and I am hoping to pull out this victory to get above the average mark. And now overall for the year, we are 266 games in, so here's my record. I am 129, 127-9 against the spread. I'll have to find out which game I forgot, but I'll have to see if that equals 50.4% against the spread. And straight up, I am at the year 177-89, which equals 66.5%. So overall, against the spread wise, I hit the same mark. So next year, definitely by my third year going against the spread, I do hope I achieve better against the spread marks. I'm shooting for 52 to 54% against the spread. I would be happy with that. That'd be a nice improvement there. While straight up, going 66.5%, that's really good. That's one of my better years. Even though it wasn't quite 67, 68%, I am happy to have that mark. And I do want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all the NFL YouTube prognosticators. Thank you to all the viewers that have watched my videos this year to help grow my channel. I'm at about 500 subscribers, and it's a great mark for me. And I hope that through, going into next year, I hope I get more viewers, and I hope the same viewers that watch me this year come back, and I can continue to grow my channel. And I will be doing a NFL season review video probably either 2 weeks from yesterday or today. I will be doing a postseason review video and thinking about some of the key off-season questions and all the aspects of the draft and the combine and all that happy stuff for the off-season. But, yep, so now it is time for everybody for me to talk about the Super Bowl and my prediction. So, in Super Bowl 52, in U.S. Bank Stadium, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it is the Philadelphia Eagles going to the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are 5-point favorites in this game. I like the New England Patriots here -5, and New England straight up. Alright, so time for my thoughts on this game, and I'll probably throw in some conference championship analysis while I was talking about it. This game is very interesting but lopsided. First of all, I do want to congratulate the New England Patriots. They are making their NFL record 12th conference champion, their NFL record 10th Super Bowl, and they just played in their record 12th conference championship game. The 12th under Brady and Belichick, who are now 8-4 in those games. Still, the only two quarterbacks to beat Tom Brady in a home postseason game is Joe Flacco and Mark Sanchez, and Joe Flacco is the only guy to have multiple playoff wins as a starting quarterback against Tom Brady and the Patriots. And you look at the Pats and how they played against the Jaguars. It was interesting because the Jaguars played a very solid game through the first, I'd say through the first half. They were able to get good pressure on Brady for not to be able to make a lot of big throws, besides really the first big throw to Brandon Cooks in like the second play of the game. They got a field goal to end the first drive, which was significant. Then their offensive line on offense, they were able to just shove the Pats back and get significant push with Leonard Fournette having about almost 70 scrimmage yards in the first half. Blake Bortles was converting a lot of good third downs. I think they said he went like 6 of 10 through the 3/4 of the game on third down, which is really impressive. Keelan Cole made a fantastic catch. And as the game went on, you would think, Barry Church knocks out Rob Gronkowski with the shot to the head there. And you're thinking, okay, they have Boye, they have Ramsey, and how are the Patriots going to provide in the offense? Well, they just started being able to hit some chunk plays. They got some help with some questionable penalties, like the ones on Jalen, the ones on Boye for pass interference. You had a bad holding call at the end of the game. You had a downed Jaguar, though I didn't see anybody touch him. But beside the point, the Pats at the end of the day, they just proved why they were the Pats. And you can see from how the Jags, by the end of the game, the Jags had earned the Pats' respect, especially defensively, because Bill Belichick usually does not like pulling out trick plays, and that's exactly what he did by pulling out the double reverse, or the double throw screen, and then the flea flicker. Belichick rarely pulls that out, but most of the time it works, and that's usually a sign of respect for the defense because they can't beat you in the conventional plays. And then it just came down to when Tom Brady, who orchestrated his 51st game-winning drive, his 13th in the postseason, which is an NFL record, which he continues to move on. It just showed how Tom Brady, through everything, even the cut in the back of his hand, can play incredibly well. And still come out clutch and still be the best quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL at the age of 40 and is going into his 17th year. And Blake Bortles proved again that when you needed him most, he couldn't do enough to get the victory. And you could tell by that last play, even though it was a pretty good throw by Bortles, he threw it too hard. He should have lobbed the ball, and maybe D.D. Westbrook had a chance to catch it, but Stephon Gilmore earned his $13 million check this year by knocking that ball down and sending the Pats to their 8th Super Bowl and their third one in the last 4 years. The only other team to do that in the last several years are the Patriots from 2001 to 2004. Where when you look at the Eagles in their game against the Vikings, that was an absolute shock in how the game ended. Because here's the thing, I think I told everybody on my video last week, I thought the Eagles had a chance to win. This was a team that had a very good defense. I didn't think it was as talented as Minnesota's. And I thought, again, you had about equal running games. But really, if you think about it, the Eagles had an advantage at every single position in either depth or skill, or both, than the Vikings did, except maybe the corners. Because who had the better offensive line, Philadelphia's or Minnesota's? Philadelphia's. The running games, if Dalvin Cook was in Minnesota, that could have been a huge X factor. But the running games are about to push, but I might even give that to Philadelphia. Tight end, Philadelphia. Wide receivers, Philadelphia. The D lines and linebackers, that's about a push. But you could argue Philadelphia, Minnesota had that equal. Even the safeties with McLeod and Robinson and Harrison Smith and Sendeo, that's about equal. And the only advantage Minnesota had was they had a better corner, Xavier Rhodes, but they really didn't even target Xavier Rhodes that often for two reasons. One, he had a foot injury that knocked him out through part of the first half, and two, they had Trey Waynes, who had one of his worst nights for a lot of Eagle fans out there. He had a Bradley Fletcher, Des Bryant type of game where basically the Eagles exploited it. And the problem with the Vikings is they are a defensive-led team. So if you get the offense down, or if you get the defense in a 10 to 14-point hole, if it gets any bigger than that, you have no chance because Case Keenum wasn't going to come back from that. And when he threw that first pick six, that was kind of the turning point of the game because if he doesn't throw that or they get a field goal and they start pouring it on, you're going to get to that point of, okay, The Eagles are not that very good offensively, and I didn't think Nick Foles could play that well in psychologically to overcome a 10, 14-point deficit. But as soon as he threw that pick six and then they punted the ball in the next drive, Nick Foles tended up to shred the number one overall defense in the NFL this year. And it was kind of amazing because he outplayed Tom Brady literally against a better defense. He threw for about 330 yards and 3 TDs with no interceptions. He won them their first NFC championship since 2004. And it was just an outright beating because it just snowballed after that. Case Keenum really couldn't throw anything. The receivers couldn't get any separation. Adam Thielen made one great catch in the end zone, but that was overturned off a drop because it hit the ground. And the Eagles just ramrodded the Vikings. And congratulations to Philadelphia. Congratulations to the Eagles for proving everybody wrong. Basically said, well, you have Nick Foles. Nick Foles can't, carry this team. But obviously he can because he's played 2 very good games of football in different situations. And that defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense led by Jim Schwartz, who I believe will get a head coaching job next season. And for the Vikings, it's a sense of they have a huge question. They have a lot of core talent still there that will have a good core. The problem is all 3 of the quarterbacks, Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and Teddy Bridgewater, all are free agents going into next year. I don't know which ones you bring back. I don't know if you bring them all back. I don't know if you bring any of them back. But the Vikings need to find a solid quarterback answer going into next year, or they could possibly, with the Packers coming back, with the Lions getting some improvements, and the Bears getting some improvements, they could be fighting for that wild card spot again after, having one step away from hosting Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history and for the first time in Vikings history. But besides those, championship game aspects, to look at this game, I have to take the Patriots here because I have to trust the experience. Because this is the thing with Foles and, the Pats. The Eagles have a much better defense than the Pats do. But the Pats do one of the best things well. What the Pats do is they are bend but not break. And I think against this offense, which the Nick Foles-led offense is essentially the RPO machine, the RPO Nick Foles machine of run pass options. Because if you watch the game, the Eagles predominantly got their offense from doing runs, which were doing okay, and then they threw slants, flats, and screens, and then the occasional play action bomb and the flea flicker play that got their chunk plays. It's hard to stop, and I do think the Eagles' offensive line can exert themselves against the Pats' defensive line, but I just don't think you can run those 2 to 3 plays over and over again against this Bill Belichick team unless they target Malcolm Butler's had a down year, or unless you just target scrub corners on the Pats. But Bill Belichick's not going to let them do that the entire game because they have more talent and they will adjust. But I'm also taking the Pats because this is just something that I just can't trust the Eagles. I'm rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game, to see the Patriots dynasty end, or to end the run of dominance where they won't tie the Steelers. They won't have 6 rings. I am rooting for the Patriots run to end, so maybe we have hope. But in my head, I just don't see it happening. I see a New England offense that could get Rob Gronkowski back, which is huge, but I see a New England offense that has burners on it. They have, 2 very good pass-catching running backs in Deion Lewis and James White. And the Eagles, I just don't know if Nick Foles can put a third game in him. Nick Foles, he's always kind of had a rule of 3. Usually, at most, plays either 3 good or bad games in a row. And just going up against this defense, going up against this pressure, going up against the fact that this is likely the last game for New England Patriots offensive and defensive coordinators, Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia respectively, I think Bill Belichick wants to send them out on top and give those 2 other teams the reassurance that these guys were worthy hires of getting head coaching jobs, and Bill can, retool himself and move on from there. And again, I think the Eagles, they do have a shot. And because I do think if you look at them the last 2 weeks, they fed off this motivation, and they have a solid defense and an okay running game that can play clock management to keep the Pats from reach. And also, I think having Jim Schwartz, Chris Long, and LeGarrette Blount on the team, a guy that knows Bill Belichick very well from his time in Cleveland, and two guys that were on the team last year that was in the Super Bowl that they won last year, that helps a bit. I know Bill Belichick's probably changed his scheme part and changed some other things, but I do think having that experience and having that experience with the Patriots can help Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz create a game plan that hopefully can be effective. But I'm taking the Patriots here. They're wearing their white uniforms, which they are 3-0 in. They're 3-0 in their white unis to win the Super Bowl. The blue ones, they're 500, and I think the red ones are 0-2. Or let's see, 3-0, 2-2. That's 7, 4, 7. Yeah, they're 0-2 in their red uniforms. So I think that's a factor, and I just think the Patriots, they wanted to have this matchup, and I think it'll pay off because Nick Foles in this moment cannot play that well against the Vikings. He cannot duplicate that against the New England Patriots in order for them to win. I think he nearly has to play like that in order to win, and I don't think it'll happen. So that's it. So that's my thoughts and prediction, and the reason why I'm taking the Patriots to beat the Eagles on Sunday, February 4th, Super Bowl 52. And that's it. So shout out to TJ Harmon. Shout out to all the Eagles fans out there. I have some friends of mine. Shout out to all those people out there. Shout out to the NFL YouTube prognosticators. Shout out to everybody that watched my videos. I want to say thank you again. And that's it. So until 2 weeks from this past Monday or Tuesday, this is Matt the Automatic signing off. And until next time, so long, and everybody enjoy Super Bowl 52. Because I will.